we're halfway done. I'm making this video to showcase this garden, and hopefully I can upload this as a file, and hopefully it's a little bit more clear than the last video that I made, because the last video, it looked like garbage. But this right here is the old rock garden. I'm extending it. I have extended it to all this. There's nothing planted here yet, but this is basically a crevice garden slash rock garden, and I'm using whatever I have as materials. I removed the topsoil. I put in a whole bunch of pea gravel. This is literally less than 1 ton was used, 1 scoop, literally 50 bucks. And I still got some left over, and I literally used it in a bunch of other projects. Literally 1 ton, and I did all this. So basically in here I've got almost a foot, probably over a foot of pea gravel there, and I've got other type of gravel mixed in, you know, colorscape stuff, and then I'm gonna add in some of the stuff that I used there. I got a little bit of sand, a little bit of compost, and then as I created these stones, these are old stones that were literally angled. They were like hexagons or pentagons or whatever they were. I literally beat the crap out of them with the sledgehammer over there, and I rounded them off. My goal was to have, I really like that. Imagine when these things are dry, when the sun is setting, and you've got lights and darks, shadows and stuff, and just you're gonna have round plants, you're gonna have pointy plants, different colored plants popping up through those bricks. The sun is gonna be setting, and it's gonna be awesome. Then just past that, you got smooth angles, then you got round, jagged, concrete pieces. Hopefully not very many weeds are going to be growing in here as well. But basically my goal was to have, parallel flats, and then these are going to go in the same angle, but then they're going to change and shift, go down. You're going to have a peak, and then they're going to continue. So all these I had to stop because I kind of ran out of time. Then I also was getting blisters and stuff. And so basically you've got some bricks that I'm going to continue, and I'm going to bury them, and they are going to just kind of, it's going to be like, it's going to be just a wave. So it goes boom, down, up, curves, and it's cool. So it's just completely different than this. I'm hoping that it's like in crevice gardens, you've got little cracks and stuff where, they call them microclimates, microenvironments or whatnot, where hopefully over here, this block right here is held up by, a couple of bricks, and that's going to hopefully stay a lot drier than some other areas. But I might find that stays drier. This little section stays drier, so then I can put some of the arachnoidum, or, the tiny little hairy hens and chicks and stuff, and some of the other plants in. But basically I'm planting in, almost directly into some stones, but mixing the other stones in, and no one around here is going to have a garden quite like this. And I am going to just keep on extending it, hoping to talk to a neighbor about getting some more blocks, because I literally took this one piece of concrete, broke it up into 3 pieces. So I got that one, that one over there is literally triangular, and it goes to a point. The jagged edges is basically what you want, but you've got the angles, you got the 90-degree angles, you got the rounded, and then you got a little bit of everything. You can mix in the geodes, you can mix in the hens and chicks, the sedums, the ground covers. You can also mix in bright plants of just, the ajugas. You can mix in the small yarrows, the tiny bee balms. You can mix in coneflowers. You can mix in really anything. Things with deep tap roots are gonna, do really good potentially. They'll reach down into the lower levels, but I found this rock and I carried it for like an hour the day I found that one, and then I carried that rock for quite a ways when I found that one, on another property or whatnot that I had permission. And then that one, you kind of mix the same types of stones in the little pockets. You mix the reds with the darks, and then you got the lights and stuff. And I still got to shift some things around, and obviously that brick is not where it needs to be. This is the halfway point. if you had issues with weeds, if you had issues with something, imagine you just scrape all the topsoil, or don't even scrape the topsoil, just like, you know, you just kill all the plants that are existing. You know, if you're out in the country, you have a problem with weeds, you don't want dandelions or thistles or whatnot. I mean, you could go and get some really crappy bricks or whatnot, break them up, put pea gravel down, put some sand and compost mix for some nutrients down there, and then just build it up. Get some bags or pallets of the stone. I mean, no one is gonna have this. These crevices allow, like at the Juniper Level Botanic Gardens, that garden I believe is the one that has like one of the craziest crevice gardens ever. But like, you know, that garden has areas where it's just, I mean, they're all using the concrete blocks, and they've got areas where it's just stacked. You know, some areas they've got an inch wide where they just have basically a peat and pumice mix or whatnot, gravel, crushed stuff, and you know, they've got plants growing in there that wouldn't survive, you know, in regular soil. They have to be planted in these stones. It allows for new varieties of plants. These hens and chicks, they can grow in boots, they can grow in the ground, but you know, they're going to be happier. They're going to be happier in the stones, in the gritty mix. The places where over here you're going to have all kinds of weeds growing. Over here, last year I didn't really have to weed this hardly at all, but I've got a lot of soil and stuff and sand kind of exposed, but even still, hopefully you guys get the vision. I'm going to be planting this with a whole bunch of different plants. If you plant sedums in there, like the Angelina's teacup or whatnot, the miniature sedums, they're going to be filling in all those cracks. And, you know, imagine you're going to have blues, you're going to have pinks. The blue ox sedum is basically a black sedum. And, you know, just like this, you got all the different colors. You got the purples, you got the variegateds, you got the two different colored sports. So, yep, this is the halfway point. I'm hoping that plants are gonna love this. You know, I got the finer gravel in here, and there's almost too much moisture as it is because it just rained. But basically, we will see what these do. Planning on using some of these stones with the holes and edging all the way around there with those stones, so I can have mulch go up to the edge, and then on the other edge, the other side, you have all the pea gravel and stuff. But what I probably should have done is took this all the way over here. You know, I used less than 1 ton, 1 yard of pea gravel, and I still have some left over, and I used a bunch on some other projects, planting pea gravel mixed with potting mix and stuff to plant some of these plants in. I come over here every single day and I check out this garden, see what's growing, what it's looking like, because, you know, it's just unnatural, or it's just unique. Wildfire sedum. You know, that one right there is really cool looking. I mean, it looks like a coral. The red edges are starting to come on. You know, if you were a thousandaire instead of a dollar-aire, you know, a millionaire or whatnot, if you had some more money to spend than I had, you could literally buy a pallet of bricks, have someone deliver that crap, or you could get the fancy red sandstone. You could get all stone that looks like that. You could get sparkly stuff. You could get geodes. I mean, if you were a millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, imagine you could literally have a garden where the whole thing is just straight up crystals. Or even broken glass. Seashells are from the beach. This is like mountain. That's like complete opposites, but you could even do that. You could use colored stones, black colored stones mixed with bright oranges and purples and blues, or blues fading to green. I mean, you could do a whole bunch of different things, but this is just basically creating a colorful mountain environment that no one else is going to have. I mean, come on. Look at that plant. Look at that plant. Look at that plant. Halfway, guys. Look at that. Imagine the sun setting. I took really nice pictures of this. The sun is now coming out because it was just raining, but like, I've literally got, there's a tick on that. I've got words on that stone because that's like a concrete, and I hit it with the hammer. I didn't hit those with hammers, they were already kind of cracked, but those I hit with hammers. I got blisters from doing that. But here at Plant Daddy Express, I'm gonna try my best to continue to grow a whole bunch of cool plants and do things that other people aren't doing, but also do things that other people are doing, and then hopefully try and take them my own way. You know, rock gardens, you can easily, every rock garden is completely different. The perennials and stuff, I did copy some of the design aspects from other people, but make your gardens your own. Do something people aren't doing. Do something eye-catching.